Is your pre-construction project potentially going to get canceled? There's a chance. And now there are a lot of people who are kind of stressing about not being able to close on their pre-cons right now because the rates are higher, maybe the appraisals are coming a little bit later, or maybe you've speculated or someone has speculated and they can't close on assignment or sell it to their contract to somebody else. There's still the other camp of pre-con investors where they're just concerned about it being canceled, and that's the flip side of the coin when it comes to pre-construction project investing, right? And we can kind of give you my checklist, really not a checklist, call it like 2 points, and whether I can determine your project is going to get canceled in the near future. And while there is a lot of concerns in the pre-construction space right now because market going down, when you leverage up, it kind of looks bad. It is actually one of the better places to find deals right now if you are an investor who's not too concerned about cash flow, right? And I made this chart over here to illustrate the opportunities for pre-construction right now. You can buy assignments from people from like say 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020 prices and get a deal, right? So if you want to get on that list, you can book a call with me using the link right here. It's www.chatwithzen.com and just kind of let me know what you're looking for. Simply click on a date and a time that works best for you. And then when you see the prompt, fill in your name, email, mobile phone number, and the question you have for me, and then we'll chat then. Good day, Toronto. Welcome to another episode of Prime Properties TV. My name's Zhen, and I run a RE/MAX brokerage in the Greater Toronto area, in addition to making wicked, awesome real estate content just like this for you. Now, sometimes I hate the idea of being right because it's a very unfortunate thing being right, and this is applying to a lot of the pre-construction projects that are being canceled right now. So I'm just making this video today because I think I'm gonna see more of it in the future. It was strictly pure economics and performance based on what the builders can have, right? So the thing that shocked me in all of this was the speed at which these cancellations were happening, like the media reporting them. And I'm gonna kind of go through my 2 points of why I think maybe something that is in the pipeline is gonna get canceled, and you can determine whether yourself and assess your pre-con, whether it's at risk of being canceled, right? So the first one I would say is if the pre-con was sold at a price point that's way too low, meaning too good to be true. So, there's too little margins there and, inflation has crept up by quite a lot. Then the second one is the project has not broken ground since it was being sold, call it 2 years ago, right? So when something is too good to be true, like I was saying earlier, it often is. So in my case, when I look at a pre-con project, something that triggers me is two things, which is whether it's a financial error, like the numbers don't add up, or there's a misallocation of value on the pricing, right? And that's generally, I would say, like my overall sniff test on a pre-con. And given that pre-con launches have been doing so great and it's been an absolute tear outside the little gap in the pandemic, the last 4 years have been great for them, I would say it's definitely not a misallocation of value because prices kept going up, right? Which leads me to think that there are some financial errors at play. And let me explain. The financial error leads to like very little margin, meaning profit for the builder, which ultimately leads to the banks will not finance them, which means that if the bank's not going to finance them, there's no building, no construction loan. And if there's no building, means there's no units to close on, which ultimately means you're going to be getting your deposit back, maybe with or without some interest. And therefore, your pre-con project is canceled. So if you remember the cost of commodities such as concrete, aluminum, copper, lumber, and all that stuff, right? It all went up significantly after the pandemic. And it's a little bit lower now, but there was immediately going to be some kind of pricing pressure on the cost of construction, right? Because those are the materials for construction. So if you break down a house or a condo project or whatever, right? It's essentially a bundle of commodities, right? Like I was saying earlier, the aluminum, lumber, and all that stuff, plus your labor, plus the value of your land, which is the hard cost, right? So when you add all that up, that's what's going to be the input into the output of the condo, right? Now, I'm not defending the builders by any means, but this is just the reality of where some of these projects are, right? If it's a financial error. And that's why I'm saying some builders are asking for more money to finish the project. It's just that most people don't understand the economics of the development side. And I don't blame them because, that's why I'm trying to explain this to you. Anyways, if you found this content useful, I'm sure someone else would as well. So make sure you smash that like button and share this with everyone you know that probably can get some value out of this. And if you are looking for some help to navigate this real estate market in the fall, you can book a call with me using the link right here. It's www.chatwithzen.com. Okay, let's go to point number 2, which is if the ground was not broken, meaning no shovels in the ground, right? So it generally means that their hard cost contracts may not have been put in place yet because it's been 2 years, right? So if you try to do some renos, call it in the last 2 years, you would understand how difficult it is to find any kind of tradespeople and supplies. Fun fact, I was looking for kitchen handles for 4 months in 2020. So the longer the builder delays the project, the longer the builder must hold on to that piece of land without making any progress towards the completion. Now, one of the things that most people may not understand is that you need to keep in mind that builders get paid upon registration or completion of the building, meaning that when you as an end user and investor goes and pays for the unit with a mortgage most of the time, right? That's when they ultimately get profits. So as a result, the longer the project gets delayed, the builder incurs more cost for the land itself. Now, if there are larger builders, and this is why you buy with reputable builders, they're probably better financially off and can absorb some of that cost by if they own the land for a long time from years ago, like say land banking. However, the smaller builders who may have bought the land with permits or something like that, they're a little bit more leveraged and they may be the ones getting hammered the higher capital costs or the commodity costs increase. It means that when interest rates go up and you have to hold that piece of land, it ultimately affects the mortgages the builders have on that piece of land. So if you imagine if your mortgage went up by $1,000, give or take, in the last 6 months because of the higher rates, imagine what it does to a multi-million-dollar mortgage on a piece of land. It is wild what the increases would be, right? But all in all, the stuff that's transpired in the last 2 years, like I was saying earlier, is the perfect storm for precons to be canceled. And this is very unfortunate because it's kind of no one's fault, right? And this is why I think there could be a systemic issue in the real estate market right now, as I've been saying for a while. And it's only kind of been exacerbated by the fact that pre-con prices are even higher and real estate speculators are buying these things with, call it not valid mortgage approvals, and they were planning to flip it on assignment anyways. So if these things either get canceled or they can't be assigned and they can't close, we're in for some trouble. Now, if you are currently invested in a pre-construction project, and sorry, I've unintentionally spooked you, my bad, just, want to put the truth out there and kind of my thoughts, but there's really unfortunately no way out for you on your contract unless you assign it, and it may be at a loss for you. So again, sorry for the bearer of bad news. But if you have been thinking about investing in pre-con, I hope this kind of gives you a little bit of light onto the risk that comes along with pre-con. And if you do want to invest, I would say look at buying up some of these distressed assignments. Otherwise, you may want to just pivot your strategy and look into resale because you don't want to be a speculator. You want to have a solid plan where you can ride the ups and downs of the real estate market. And you can do that by booking a strategy call with me using the link right here. It's www.chatwithzen.com. So hopefully this gives you an idea of where I think the pre-con space is right now. Yes, there are some opportunities in buying up someone's assignment if it's for the low and they're distressed, but to buy new directly from the builder, yeah, maybe not for you. Anyways, until next time, your move, your future. See ya. Now that you're done watching this one, how about this one? Oh, you know what? This one's good too. Ooh, this one's really good. You know what? Just watch them both.